It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Ramatu. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Honestly.
So you didn't want to come back to this Lagos?
I didn't want to come back because man, the traffic in this Lagos. I just entered Kaduna, the peace. No traffic, nothing. But the train ride was it was a different story
Hectic.
entirely because the federal government declared it free. But the thing was that they were supposed to register us with our names. I got a ticket that was not my name. It wasn't my name that was on it.
God.
So we got on the train. The coaches carried overload because some people start on the walkway. And then me, because there was a time something happened to that train one time. There were terrorists attacked the train like 2 years back and everything. I thought by now things would be in a good shape and everything and organized, but man, nothing like that.
So you took a train from where to where?
From Abuja to Kaduna. And immediately I entered because of the security and the way I saw everything. I just went and started close the door. But the soldier that was escorting the train came. He stood close to me and his gun was facing me. I was like,
no.
I said,
what kind of trauma?
Accidental discharge. Yeah, could he shift it to the other side? But it was a wonderful trip. 3 hours. Almost 3 hours.
Abuja to Kaduna.
Yes, Abuja to Kaduna. And immediately I got back, just 10 minutes to the house. Immediately I got home. Reke was waiting for me. Reke, sugar cane. I was
drinking all the tea and everything.
Tea was in Abuja.
Thank you for the kilishi. Very nice. It's not very pepperish.
I didn't know that you guys would like the pepper.
No, I mean, it was nice.
Well, because when it's pepperish, it's very, very pepperish. But when it's not, it's something that you do. But let's say I brought the pepperish one like this, you'll be taking.
I'm able to drink. I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to drink my tea. But when I tasted it, I'm like, oh, this is really nice. Thank you. Welcome back.
We're supposed to write some exams. You're supposed to bring the form for the exams. But she brings the form.
Don't worry, I'll still.
How you doing?
Very good. Grateful to God for life. Had an amazing Money Monday first edition yesterday, and somehow I in one of the things I shared, I spoke about the fact that just say it, express your love, say what's on your mind. Oh, I've been getting plenty of testimonials. I didn't expect that they would turn the love towards me, but very detailed. The message, the Money Monday I did last year, June. This interview I did with Reverend Fuke, as like people have been sharing the impact of Money Monday, and so as frustrating as it might be for me, I want to try something new. I'm going to have to continue. Don't watch it, check it online. Or I also have a financial fitness class that I'm doing. I did a free training last year. This one you pay for it. If you are interested in financial fitness, join us on the journey. Check my social media page.
Oh, well done, fantastic! You've really been doing this financial thing for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it free. And I've been learning a whole lot. There's no January that I start my year by doing one course or the other because it sets the tone for the.
Goodbye.
It is over. Nobody should call me again. If I do not see you, you're your own. Over the weekend, I met up with my secondary school friends that I've not seen since they were in the country and everything. It was super amazing. And then I also take my office. I also take this first week review activities of last year, our financials, our goals, and we set new goals for the new year and our financials and what we hope to achieve. So we're doing that this week. Hopefully, 2025 will be better. 2024, but we're on that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how are you?
I'm very good. Just taking a day at a time. The new year, so much things happening, but even I wanted to have a group meeting with my team, but I'm waiting for a general one with our CEO, and after that I'll now have a plan with the team just to know what we're going to be doing this year. But I have an idea what we want to do, and I can't wait for us to just have that meeting and have a strategy for achieving our goals. Let's go on a short break today. When we come back, look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're starting with the nation as usual. Senate House begin work on 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget estimates. Troops ISWAP in bloody Borno battle. China virus NCDC reactivates COVID-19 protocols. EFCC sacks 27 operatives for fraud and misconduct. Court orders Okpebolo Assembly orders to remain status quo on Edo councils. Makinde insists on prosecution of Oni's ex-wife Hamzat and others. Federal government revives bid to float national carrier. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The good news. The federal government has announced plans to establish a national carrier before the end of President Bola Tinubu's tenure. This should have been done since yesterday, but we're happy.
If we know how many times we read this article,
Exactly.
this type of headline.
This headline,
Because-
exact headline.
Exact headline. How many years we've been on this
several
table?
times.
We've read this thing, but let us
This
put our
is
fingers crossed.
2025.
Okay,
We're
have
positive.
let us trust. So yeah, go
The new
ahead.
permanent secretary in the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Dr. Ibrahim Kana, announced this yesterday in Abuja after the outgoing permanent secretary had handed over the ministry's documents over to him. He said that he got 2 clear instructions from the president that he should collaborate with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Kayamo, to establish a national carrier and improve the security of the airports. He also said that his first task is to make sure that we have a carrier and that he's working day and night to make sure this happens. And that secondly, all our airports across the country needs to be sanitized. I think this Dirty December also showed them what happens at the airport, and the airports across board needs needs
Well, but everybody that
needs
went
to
to
be
the airport
sanitized.
enjoy the airport
No,
unless something else.
no,
Probably
no,
you came
no,
on
no,
the-
you can't.
The airport's speed of
Not the international one.
International.
Not just international.
Okay.
When you not like
Local.
the national, when you want you to go to your
Okay,
village.
okay. The local one, yeah.
There's room for
Local
improvement.
one.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
Because I know that
But it's
the
getting
international
better.
is getting better.
Yeah,
It's
of course,
definitely
of
getting
course,
better.
Of course.
Okay, nation.
Yes, I was going to take the story of this happened, sad story. The Oyo State Governor was speaking at the interdenominational service for the new year, and he said that many people have reached out to him concerning the stampede that took place in Oyo, where sadly 35 lives were lost. And he said he has told them, people told him that this thing happened in Anambra and nobody was arrested. It happened in Abuja, nobody was arrested. And he has said to anybody that he should not come and meet him again, that because in Oyo, the rule of law will be implemented, that he's not against these people getting bail, that is the Queen Naomi Shile Kunola, as well as Alaji Oriyomi Hamzat, that's the owner of the radio station, and the principal of the school, Basharu Abdullahi Fasisi. The 3 of them are currently were detained, and he was saying he's not against them getting bail. His only statement is they will be prosecuted and justice must be served, that he doesn't care if in the past justice never got served, but in this particular incident, it will be served, that they've had 2 incidents, major incidents that happened in Oyo. Earlier in the year, they had the explosion in Bodija that rocked Bodija, and that they are pursuing that case. And this second one that happened at the end of the year, they'll pursue the case as well. Long and short is, go and meet the governor to ask for help in releasing them. Go to court is what the governor is saying.
Okay, another story.
Yeah, so
Nation?
I have the story of the bloodbath in Borno battle between the Hatinkai and the Islamic State West African province. And the story is quite short on the Nation, but I had to read more on Tribune. And they said that the terrorists had ambushed the troops in Sabongari, Damboa local government area of Borno State, leading to a 2-hour gun battle. They were in their camp, and they said even their trucks and everything were around them. Then the Islamic State West Africa province people just attacked them, burnt their camp, burnt their vehicles, confiscated some of their guns, and then, and started shooting. But before they could, the soldiers got up and were able to retaliate. What it had already gone far. And on Tribune, they said they lost 7 of them. But on the Nation, they are saying that an inquiry has been set up to confirm the details of what transpired, and after which I provide the details in due course. That is the Major General Edward Buba saying this.
Okay. I have the story from the NCDC. So the Nigeria Center for Disease Control declared yesterday that Nigeria is not at risk yet of the human metapneumovirus. That's the HMBV infection that is in China so right now. It says, according to the story, in China, thousands of people estimated, especially children, have been hospitalized due to this infection. The center, apart from its advisory, also introduced the COVID-19-like protocols at the airports and borders. It listed the measures taken as comprehensive and to ensure that at the points of entries, the HMPV virus, the protocols are followed to make sure it doesn't bring the virus into the country. The NCDC Director General, DG Jide Idris, said that following the dynamic risk assessment, the agency, in collaboration with others, is strengthening its all preparedness across all the borders to ensure security of Nigerians. But I mean, this is quite scary because many of us have followed the stories on international media where quite a number of lives have been lost due to this virus, and we're praying it doesn't spread to Nigeria because I'm not sure we have the capacity to handle it at this point. Moving on now to The Punch. New Year message, APC tackles obedience as Obi alleges threat to life. Cult clash, Ayedatiwa declares curfew as mother, baby, ex-youth leader, others are killed. 33 ex-workers sue CBN over sacking and demand for 30 billion naira. JAM generates 22.9 billion naira. Remitted 6 billion to federal government, says board. Woman who cursed Sheyi Tinubu, Inspector General, gets 10 million naira bill. EFCC sacks 27 corrupt officers, probes $400,000 fraud complaint. Trump proposes US-Canada merger as Trudeau resigns. Retirement, top generals get $20,000 medical allowance, bulletproof SUVs and others. And Northwest bandits fleeing to Oyo, Makinde cries out. Okay, let's take one story here.
So about 33 ex-workers of the CBN, they were dismissed. Their termination took place last year, and they have all taken the case to court. They the case they are making is the fact that the process of their termination was not constitutional. They said that they didn't get a right to fair hearing, and that their rights were violated. They said that the Nigerian labor law, that is the CBN, breached the Nigerian labor law and their contractual agreements. They also said the group of them, represented by the Stephen Ghana, Kabiru, and others, have gotten a class action lawsuit, and they argue that the termination process carried out through the latter reorganization and human capital restructuring that took place in April 2024 contravened the CBN human resources policy and the procedural manual, and they are asking for compensation to be made to them for the fact that they have lost their jobs.
Okay, let's go on a very short break now. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, we're still reviewing Punch. I have the story with Donald Trump. As I said, Umbo, it has finally come. He's becoming president. He's going to be sworn in this year. So Donald Trump on Monday renewed his call for the merger of Canada and the United States following the resignation of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. If Canada, according to him, merged with US, there will be no tariffs, taxes will go way down, and they will be totally secure from the threat of China and Russia that is constantly surrounding them. The incoming president posted on social media, says, "Together, what a great nation it would be." He's already picturing it. So Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday. If many of you saw the story, the Prime Minister had resigned on Monday, saying he would leave office as soon as the ruling Liberal Party chooses a new leader after months of slumping polls and internal division. According to him, he said, "I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its new leader." We don't know how soon that would be, but obviously Trump will be present while Trudeau is still be in the office, and we'll see how he responds to this alleged merger that he's hoping to put together.
Okay, so I have great news here for the top generals. They said the president has approved $20,000 foreign medical treatments, bulletproof SUVs, and cooks as a retirement package for service chiefs. They said that the vehicle will be replaced every 4 years and maintained by the military. In addition to that, there's a Peugeot 508 as a backup. And also, they said they will be assigned a special assistant, 3 service drivers, and a service orderly with escorts. General Yusuf, I hope he's listening. 5, they said they are going to give them 5 domestic aides, 2 service cooks, 2 stewards, 1 civilian gardener, and the security officer. Then they said the federal government also approved Major General, that's the Brigadier, Toyota Land Cruiser, and 15,000 annual medical treatments. Also the same package, domestic staff and residential guards. Then the 1-star officials, that's Ogarma, they are going to receive like $10,000 annual medical care, Toyota Camry, domestic security and arrangements also. Then the colonels, they are going to get Toyota Corolla, but free medical care within Nigeria. They are not entitled to go. They're not entitled to the $12,000 or $20,000 or $15,000.
Okay.
But then the president of the NMA, they said Professor Bala Audu is not really happy with the fact that they gave them the $20,000 for medical this thing, because according to him, he's saying that the country that we're projecting that our healthcare facility is not funded and is not doing very well.
I mean, it's a debatable conversation, and I think it's worth talking about. I mean, as much as I appreciate the service chiefs, these are people who have served the country with everything they have. So I understand the need to give them a package, absolutely. But considering our economy, considering where we are as a nation right now, is it the appropriate thing? Do you think it's a conversation worth having? That's something that we can debate and talk about it later. But I think it's a good story.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another story, please.
Yes, I have the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has announced a remittance of over 6 billion naira to the coffers of the Nigerian government in 2024. The public communication advisor, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, had said that a total income of over 22 billion was generated, while over 6 billion was remitted to the government. He said that part of the increase in the effective remittance to over 9 billion was because of the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination Form fees, which is now 1,500 naira. He also said that over the past 7 years, that they have contributed over 50 billion naira to the National Treasury, via their registrar and chief executive, Professor Oloyede. Finally, he said that combined with the 1,500 reduction performed for the candidates, multiplied by the number of candidates that benefited in 2024, the total remittance by JAMB would amount to over 9 billion naira. That's a good one coming from them.
Okay, moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Sorrow envelopes Sokoto. Budget senator to suspend plenary for 2 weeks. My life in danger, says Obi. Alleges plot to harm him, vows to continue to struggle despite threats. Foreign inflows grow from $2.3 billion to $3.82 billion in 9 months. Police nab killer of the DPO, kill 4 gang members in gun duel in Delta State. Vandalized sewage manholes. Abuja police arrested 50 suspects. Recover 25 manholes and covers and recovers 3 vehicles. Ohaneze, 3 presidential aspirants challenge Okiro's eligibility. Okay, which story are we taking?
Let's take the human story, where the police force headquarters in Abuja said its operatives from the intelligence response team have arrested Ogaga Dixon, a member of a notorious armed robbery syndicate who was responsible for killing CSP Hassan Jega. Yes, the late DPO Aboho Division, Delta State, in October 14. So it says that this happened when they were ambushed and a gunfire ensued, and he was shot dead. And upon the arrest, that they recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, an English pistol, and some other munitions. But then the one that really touched me was where they said the police operatives also apprehended a child trafficking syndicate led by a pastor, Pastor Dayo Bernard of End Time Army Ministry in Plateau State, December 2nd, 2024. He said the operation led to the rescue of 5 children who have now been taken back home to their parents. And upon investigation, they found out that the pastor had sold a total of 13 children at varying prices, all of whom have been rescued by the police, and that they've been taken back reunited with their families through the Plateau State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. The syndicates with other people involved, some women, have all been arrested.
Okay, another story.
Very, very, very sad story. The major headline about the death, the Sokoto So there was a fire incident yesterday morning that started on that yesterday morning, Monday morning, and it engulfed the house of the SSG's daughter. So the Secretary to the state government, Mohammed Sifawa, the fire incident took place in his daughter's house. His daughter is married to the permanent secretary on Ministry for Sports and Youth Development, Mohammed Bello, and there were 5 people died in that fire incident. The mother, her 3 children, and the maid, all of them were engulfed in the fire. It was such a sad incident, and of course, in the usual way of the Islamic religion, they were all buried, and in the burial they had the deputy governor and many other people who were all commiserating with the. It's such a terrible way to start the year, and our heart goes out to the entire family that these kind of things are not the kind of things we want to hear at all.
Yeah.
Really sad.
All right, so the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has raised alarm over threat to his life. According to him, he was responding to Mr. Felix Moka, who is the spokesperson of the APC, who had responded to Peter Obi's tweet, saying that Mr. Peter Obi has crossed the line so many times, and he has what is coming to him. And whatever he gets, he should manage it. And Peter Obi has interpreted that as a threat to his life, and said, he's asking people that has he really crossed the line by criticizing the government on the economy and insecurity going on in the nation. So that's that story. Moving on now to Vanguard. Thousands face life-threatening ailments from lead poisoning. Suspension of local government chairman. Court orders Okpebolo Edo Assembly to maintain status quo. EFCC fires 27 officers over alleged corruption. Agbo tanker explosion. I saw my wife on ground burning, says distraught husband. 2 killed, 2 others injured as explosion rocks school in Abuja. Sokoto SSG loses daughter and 3 grandchildren in the house and house help to fire. I have received message threats, says Peter Obi. APC chieftain mother's child, 2 others shot dead in Ondo cult war. And court grants 10 million naira bill to lady detained for threatening the president's son. Okay, which story?
Yeah, so I have the EFCC story where they said they sacked 27 corrupt officers. They said that they had committed some offences that related to fraudulent activities and misconduct. They also said that the commission emphasized its zero tolerance policy against staff members and that most of the staff members, anybody involved, that they will be thoroughly investigated. Presently now, they said there's a trending $400,000 claim of a yet-to-be-identified supposed staff of the EFCC that they are going to investigate and find out what's going on. And also, they said there are 2 members, Ojobo Joshua and Aliyu Hashim, that recently they called Mr. Mohammed Bello Kaka, that is the managing director of Nigerian Ports Authority, demanding $1 million from him, saying that it's for Mr. Koyode, that they want to help him because presently he has a case with EFCC, so they are going to help him to give him soft landing. Meanwhile, there's nothing like that. The case does not exist.
Wow,
so the EFCC that is saying that even if they are members of the staff, that are going to dismiss immediately. They find
Imagine.
if they find you one thing.
That's we the people.
It's
just
a
false.
system.
Who are supposed to be
We the people. Any other story you have to wrap up
The
very
major headline, the community, this is from
Lead
Abakaliki, yes. The Anyigba community of the Abakaliki local government area of Ebonyi State said that what should be a source of joy has become pain for the people in similar way to the crude oil and the poisoning that came from it. They said that from every indication, the side effects of the mineral exploration taking place has brought mixed blessings and misfortune because people of that community have now in thousands been affected by lead-related ailments because they are eating crops, vegetable, fruit, tubers that have been contaminated by the mineral deposits. So they say they don't have a choice. In the midst of the health hazards, they still need to remain there. And some of them have been suffering strange ailments from this disease based on the toxic lead exposure in their water, in their river, based on the mining being taking place within that area. Most of what they are eating and drinking is polluted. I was hoping that we would come up with the holistic solution of how they will solve that problem, but we always overlook environmental impact analysis before we go into all these things. We're just thinking of let's get money flowing in their community, but this is the result.
We have resources, natural resources. Let us get it. Now you're guessing the natural resources, but yeah, you're not checking to ensure that the people are safe. It's really, really sad indeed. Oh God. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. When we come back from what's our hot topic of today, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a story that caught our attention on social media. There's a story that trended in the past week or so about Cubana chief priest, a billionaire businessman, and music star Berner Boy, who has been trending over the weekend. Berner Boy made a public call that he had $30,000 that was given to the younger brother of Cubana chief priest, who happens to be a repairer at the Alaba market here in Lagos. As after the post, Bethel Okechukwu, the brother or the alleged brother of Cubana chief priest, made a video to unveil his identity. Berner Boy has since fulfilled his pledge to give him $30,000. The viral video generated quite a bit of mixed reactions. Many were baffled at how a brother of a rather flamboyant man as Cubana chief priest could be perceived to be in such a state. Now, as your view, ladies, we don't talk about people's gist. It's none of our business. We focus on the issue, because the issue about being a wealthy, obviously wealthy person and having the obligation that you must also lift everybody around you up. Now, when you do that, or when you don't do that, should society judge you for choosing to keep your wealth within those people you believe that deserve to be shared with, or should you, out of obligation to societal expectations, ensure that the wealth you have garnered spreads across your family members so that nobody in your entire lineage is poor again? That's really the conversation, because there's so many societal expectations that a rich person's brother should not be poor, or should not be struggling, should not be hustling. I remember there was a story recently where, I think it was 50 Cent, that was saying that he was not going to help his younger brother, his brother, his son, because all his life he's been giving him certain amount of thousands of dollars per month, and still with that, he hadn't made anything out of his life. So he, at 50 cents, I'm not giving my son money again. Let him go and hustle by himself. Now, you see a 50 Cent's brother, and somebody is asking, maybe 50 Cent's colleague, maybe a Beyonce, please raise me $100,000. And Beyonce now sends $100,000 to him. You now be wondering, you're 50 Cent's brother, shouldn't you be rich? And so that's the conversation we're having. Like, should they feel the obligation to help their siblings? And if they help them, and maybe for whatever reason, those people don't make use of that help, should they continue to see it through and ensure? Because you don't want society to think that you've left your loved ones. That's the conversation today. So you can call us on the numbers on your screen. So the question is that, is it a must for a rich person to help his or her struggling sibling? Is it an entitlement? Or is it something that it should be looked away? You can call us on 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on Twitter, on X, and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to read your comments. So, who would like to go first?
Okay, so it would be nice to have a very rich and influential sibling, right? Because there are some perks that definitely come with that comes with it. You have a private jet, then when you're flying, I'm not saying when I want to fly, when you're flying, I shall enter. And we continue the enjoyment, because loneliness is something now. It kills. So you won't come here, at least there's someone gist with you and everything. But it is not a must for someone that is wealthy. It's not a must for my sibling to say, Amaka, hop on, let's go. See, it all depends on personal values, family dynamics, and also cultural expectations. Number one, we don't know the family dynamics of the siblings, right? Most people as siblings are not friends. We need to get that right. Some people were not raised as a close-knit family. Some people are very, how shall I put it, competitive within their family settings. So it all depends on how someone grew up and what the values, what their personal values and
So we
budget.
don't know the history.
So we
between
don't. So yeah, you don't know the history behind it because if people from close knit family tend to share. Like from a close knit family, I and my sibling, we share clothes, we share everything. But some people are not like that. You cannot even touch your sibling stuff. Some siblings that are very competitive, you will not even believe it, even in business or everything. And then you also have siblings that they've helped and helped and helped. But your brain or your own personal values in terms of how you spend money, maybe you believe that my brother has it, my brother is, you see some people, they're not the wealthy ones, they're not the ones suffering and sacrificing to make that money. But the way they spend the money, they want you like, because they don't understand the struggle behind it. So we don't know the dynamics or the history behind these siblings, right? And behind this, and then it's also not bad if, for example, you're my sibling and you happen to know like someone a rich person that can give me a contract as your sibling. By the virtue of the connection now, nice things will also touch me now. Yeah. If the person decides to give me a contract because they know you as my, why not?
Okay, let me hear your thoughts on this, Ramatu.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is this: if I have a sibling, I think it's compulsory that I help my sibling because we come from the same mother, parents. You know, we could even be step ones because I believe that charity begins at home. We need to help each other so that all of us can grow. Sometimes in a family, one person could be blessed, or sometimes all of you can be blessed. But there's always, most times in a family, you find out that there's one person that God will lift, and that person that God will lift should be able to, you know, spread the tentacle so that you'll be able to, others too can come up. So it depends on the kind of help. For example, I can help you. Maybe for example, you have a business or you have a business idea and you want to develop that kind of business. I'm going to help you in a way that you don't have to keep coming back to me to come and be collecting urgent 20,000, urgent 10,000, urgent 2,000 from me. So I'll make sure that me that I'm the wealthy one, I'm going to make sure that I establish you in a way that you'll be comfortable so that you don't keep coming back. The problem is where a sibling keeps coming back, you know, for things, you know, that you should be able to take care of yourself. Say, for example, there's this in my husband who always detests a lot. Sometimes you see some men, they will come and be asking for money when their wife is, you know, labor. They will start asking for money for...
yes,
exactly. You planned it. It took you 9 months. At least even if you are saving small money up to 9 months, you should be able to pay for her medical bills. So all those kind of things, all this urgent, this thing is really the major problem that, you know, I wouldn't want a sibling to keep coming back to come and collect money from me. So I'll make sure that at least I establish that sibling.
That's in the way if things go well. Because many times people say, I have tried to help. And they have this entitlement mentality where they always feel like they can come back. So they take business decisions knowing that, like, I have a backing. I have somebody who can always help me out just in case this business messes up. They don't think it through properly to start a business. So many of them have had failed businesses just because they believe that their brother can back them up. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Okay, so I'm a firm believer in kindness. You know, I'm a very firm believer in kindness, but I am totally repulsed by irresponsible people. I owe you kindness as a human being to human being, whether by blood or by community. Maybe we grew up in the same town. We are from the same family. We are siblings. I owe you kindness, but I will not support and encourage your irresponsibility. Many relatives that are suffering from entitlement are irresponsible in themselves because by culture, many Nigerians care and take care of other people. Exactly. Nigerians are communal. Very rarely will you see a Nigerian man that does not help somebody around them, except for the Nollywood movies that show us that if somebody has done jazz and they say don't help family members. But in most cases, the average Nigerian person, when they have money, they feel like it must impact their immediate environment. So we are not in a selfish environment. So when somebody is coming out to say, my family doesn't take care of me, look at the person very well and ask, what did you do with the last time they helped you? How did you spend the last money they supported you with? What did you do with the business they set up for you? Because in most cases, they will set up business for people. Nobody wants a perpetual liability. Even as a wife, as a husband, nobody wants liability. So in most cases, the reason we have family members of wealthy people who are in poverty is because The person who has helped them has gotten tired of helping. I am not going to nurture and encourage your irresponsibility. I am not going to be an enabler of your bad money management skill. I will not be that person. So sometimes people, even parents do it. Parents let their children suffer so that you can learn a lesson. So when we see Berner Boy steps in and gives gifts $30,000, hello, Berner Boy, there are many other people. I am a business owner. I can multiply it for you. There are many businesses that can multiply and effectively grow $30,000. But you do it in a, you know, I want to show,
Yes, I want to
I
show
am,
off.
you know, I am the big, I'm the real, I'm Berner Boy. I'm helping this person. There are many other ways you can help. Stop this social media kindness and let's go to the streets and help that person selling fish in the market to be able to buy 5 more cartons to grow their business instead of social media love. So I do not support entitlement.
Let me go in a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're still discussing this issue of being a wealthy person and feeling obligated to help your siblings. But you see, I want to see it from a different angle because I was watching a video of an American woman. I can't remember her name. She's wealthy and she was crying because she bought houses for her mother, 2 cars for her mother, and her father 1 car. Her sister, she got them a house. You know, she did so much, and right now they turned her to be the enemy. Now they all hate her for one thing or the other, and she was really depressed and crying. And then it got me thinking that it's not so much about the receiver of the help. It's more about those of us who are rich, or the billionaire who is a rich person. Because if you're a rich person, do you think it is right for you to just help and buy a house, or I bought you a car, or I gave you some $30,000 to start a business? I gave you, is that the way to help people? If you really want to empower people, how best do we empower people? Is it about educating? Because if I was your sister, for example, you seeking knowledge and you're growing, what I would probably expect for you to do is not just give me, because if you give me money, I will spend it to be finished. But you probably teach me some of the tools you're learning, and you're taking me along to your classes, you're taking me along, you're empowering me, observing me, seeing my own strengths. I say, okay, why don't you start this? And then you support me in that way. That might be more long-lasting than just coming to give up, because many of us are so used to let me just give you $100,000, just leave me alone. Because we don't want that problem, because they will finish the money. So the problem sometimes is not always about the receiver, because they are in that state of mind to just receive.
I get
But
you.
you, the giver, shouldn't you do better in giving what is actually right, not just the material things?
Okay.
Do you think?
So I think you're putting so much onus and burden on the giver. It's bad enough that I have.
You're the one that have
Let
money
me
now.
land now. I've gone to work hard
As
to
in?
use this my brain. So everything that's happened, I finally gotten the money. Then I want to give you. You're still putting on the burden of your own life, your own brain on top of me. Why? Is it not wickedness? Do you know the burden of being rich and sustaining that richness and that wealth? It's not easy. See, there should be burden on the receiver, in the sense that if I have a wealthy sibling, I know that when we talk about cultural expectations that I should receive, right? I receive her. I should also serve. Servitude is important. Who takes care of this rich sibling? Who caters to this rich sibling? Their mental
Can they
health.
trust you?
Can they trust you? Their mental health. Who is around them? Are they strangers? Are strangers
being encouraged?
are strangers doing better than the siblings? Are supposed to be there to be a wall of protection, a shade of protection, confidence around their so-called money that they want to eat from. Then if I'm a receiver, I should not know what do I want to do with my life. I should be the one when my brother or my sister says, so Amaka, what's your plan for 2025? I say, see my list, I think I would like to go to Harvard. And the secret to be, I
Mama,
should
can I
want
pause
to
you for
be
a second?
better.
I have
Okay.
Susan. Oh, we lost Susan. I'm so sorry. Let me let you finish.
I will want to be better for myself through the connection I have, not to put a burden
But I
on
hear
another
you. I
person.
hear the part
and
of the burden.
And gifting your sibling. There's nothing wrong in giving big gifts if you can afford it, because if someone, see, Maria, for someone to
But
bring
giving
out
gifts
10,000
makes you
naira,
irresponsible sometimes, because I just dash you money. For me, I
you
just feel like,
need
oh,
the
there's
help.
more where it came from. For you to give me
Yeah.
that, there's more where it came from. So I will not be
You can- see,
responsible
there is a
to
school
multiply
of-
that money.
There's a school of thought that you are speaking to. Some people find it easier to just give money
Because it's
to
easier.
avoid the headache.
Yes.
I don't have time to sit down and be explaining plenty English to you.
Or showing you how I made my money.
Oh, you need help. You want to pay school fees, all right, I pay the school fees, I move on. However, I think it's extremely important that people take responsibility for their life.
Exactly.
Your brother is rich, he worked for his money, work for your own. Your sister is rich, she worked for her money, work for your own. Go and meet them to ask for advice on how you can better your own life.
Intern.
Not to expect that they owe you your own growth. They owe you success because they've achieved success. So I was having a conversation just yesterday with someone, and the person was telling me how he brought a boy he knew growing up. He brought the boy into a bank. He's the regional manager. I mean, like, he wanted to bring the guy to be like the manager of the zone. And he brought the boy, put him as an assistant. And he said the guy did not work. He couldn't fire the guy based on incompetence because he gave the guy every transaction for a full year. I was the one working for you, just manage it, and the guy will not manage well. The guy, bad character, he will owe money. They will come and meet him, he will pay the debts. I have given you work. I am paying your debts. I am doing your work for you, getting you customers to your branch. So after 2 years, he was ready to fire the guy, and he could not even fire him because according to everybody in the office, so he is bringing in the numbers, but he wasn't the one doing any of the work. He was the one doing the work for him. So he had to fire him based on bad character. Somebody will not sit there in one corner and say, your uncle just fired you from a bank. How can your uncle fire you?
Your
Do
wicked
you know
uncle.
the incompetence of what the guy was doing? See, heaven help those who help themselves. It's not a Bible scripture, it's not a Bible word, but we must help ourselves. Stop blaming somebody for not helping you and taking your life. Be smart. We all have a brain. We all have 24 hours. Make your hours count.
Let me take Susan. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello.
Good morning, Susan.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sis.
Good
I need some
morning,
volume.
our big mommies. Good morning.
We're not big mommy, we're chicks
I
here. What's
really
the
love
big
the
mommy?
girl.
There's no big mommy
It's
here.
very, very
We're
beautiful.
all babes
First time
here.
caller. Yes, firstly, the volume of your TV is low. So we are not getting the normal
volume of
voice
our TV.
out.
We
Please
can't hear
help
you
us to
either.
increase the volume. So, and the family should not be generalized on if they have helped one person and the others are still there. They should not generalize that that one did not make
I'm
use
sorry,
of
Susan,
the
I can't
money
hear you. I
well. So
sincerely
they should not
apologize.
generalize
Maybe they
that
can
the
hear you at
others
home,
cannot
but I
do
can't hear.
better.
We can't
They
hear you here in
should
the
try
studio.
and help each other on their different field and follow them
can't
up.
say that on national
That is what I like to contribute to it.
Thank you so much.
They're telling me to tell them that I can't say that on TV.
Yeah, so yes, Tope, I agree with you. I agree with everything you have said. But there are some siblings that are very slow in the family. You need to recognize that. And those siblings are people that you can actually help. I can help my siblings to the extent that, okay, come, what kind of business do you want to do? I can assist. I don't mind. I'll keep pumping the money until the person gets to their feet and be able to
You
take
will
care
not
of
get
themselves.
frustrated, Abi?
I'll get frustrated, but I'll expect that you people, I will also recognize that there are some that are very slow. But I know that you get there because I know that there are a lot of people. Okay, I know of a family. She's very slow. The mother, the siblings, they help.
Is it as you are doing your work, as you are doing oil, going to find kilishi, going to do, is it between
My
that
sibling,
one?
my
I'm
sister,
saying you,
my
as
brother.
you are doing this, your work, I know how you work.
Yes.
You are manufacturing, you are bringing in the oil. Is it between that one that you're not telling somebody, okay, so this is your business, and you explain it over and over again? When will you have time to continue to sustain the money you are giving that person?
Okay,
Because
so
what
but
happens
you know,
is
okay, how do I
because
now stop? How do I now stop? Okay, for example, my sibling. How do I now stop her from coming to me all the time? How do I now stop her? So I have to help her. I'm going to sacrifice.
The issue
I'm
we're
going to
talking
sacrifice
about
my
is
time, my energy.
where
and
do we
make sure
draw
that
the line? That's really the conversation. Where do we
Okay.
draw? Because nobody's saying you shouldn't help. Because people will
Yes,
help.
everybody I
But
believe in
my
helping.
question is, where do you draw the line, number one? Number two, what kind of help should we be offering? Because sometimes it's always easy to just say, take and go. But the truth is, sometimes that headache you don't want to have
need
is
money
important for you to have that
mentoring.
headache. Because somehow somebody helped you to get to the money you are saying I have. Somebody lifted your hand to get to that point. So they also need you not to just give me money, give me 100,000 naira, just no. Help me, educate me. If you're going to send me to school to learn a few things, take a few courses, pay the course for me, then review with me, I'll come back. Really help me as you are mentored in your own business. So I'm saying that the giver also should take equal responsibility in this.
Successful siblings should mentor their younger
Should
ones.
be, yes,
That's
should
what you're
mentor.
saying.
And they
Yes,
should
yes.
take that, they shouldn't, it's not about the...
So remember I talked about family dynamics, right? And depending on how you are raised. The way I was raised, yes, the way I was raised with my siblings, I cannot, like you said, I cannot leave my sibling. As I'm going in this life, my siblings, all of us, we are carrying one another. We are carrying till the end. Because of how we are raised, because of how close we are. We do everything together. We talk every day, no matter how busy our days are. So I cannot go without my brother, without my sister. That's my dynamic, right?
Yes.
But another person's dynamic might be entirely different.
You're absolutely
So you're
correct.
talking about
And I might be,
parenting.
yes, parenting, and I might have a dynamic that, supposing that we're competitive, I'll not bring you to my business. You now come and take the food from my mouth and take the bakery,
some
take the
do it.
bread.
People have done
People
it.
do it.
Somebody said something that was really profound, so that people don't want what you give them, they want what you have.
Yes.
So it's more of like, yeah, you're giving me stuff, yeah, but it's your, everything that you are made, you are,
can
is what
That
we want.
goes beyond even siblings. Friends, some friends, they'll be like, I want your husband.
Yes.
I want your children. I want your life.
Yeah.
And some go and get that life. They kill the person to get it. So I love what you said about family dynamics. Now, I'm an only child. But with my children, I understand, like the way I drum, I was so happy on this trip because I saw my first son step into leadership on a very, very, like he was, because he knows that his younger brother, his twin brother will not eat. And he did not eat. He was like, Samuel, don't eat the food. Let's ensure the other person. And it's something I've been saying over and over again. Do not be selfish. Everything must be shared equally. As a parent, you owe it to build a family of united children that one person will not leave the other behind. Everything must be shared with equity so that you don't have future children that are now becoming
Alfonso has been
competing
holding
against
for
one
a while.
another.
Good morning, Alfonso. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Oh, we lost it. Yeah,
we lost
cut
that.
off.
I'm so
So
sorry.
I love that statement so that we can also correct in future, because sometimes what has happened now is some families have already been broken.
Yeah.
And so it now depends on. So I wrote down something. I said, the way God has wired us, and I will have to, based on my faith, we are blessed to be a blessing. My church says it over and over again. Nobody around you should go to bed hungry. So that for me is, when you say what's the minimum? The minimum is no family member. If you are sitting down in your house, you can eat chicken and eat food, and you have a family member that does not have food to eat in the house, you're a wicked person. No family member around you should go to bed hungry. Whether you can now buy a car for them or you can then buy a house for them, all of those are based on your pockets, but nobody around you should go to bed hungry.
Thank you, Alfonso. You're live. Go ahead, please. Hello, good morning, Alfonso.
We didn't hear anything.
Good morning, Alfonso. Thanks for calling. Okay, so, in a nice nuclear mommy, father, children, that kind of bond can happen. But in this our African context, we have plenty wives, we have aunts, we have cousins, we have family. There's a lot of dynamics or factors that just complicates our own story, such that it's not just about the nuclear family, which in your own case could have been what has helped that bond to be very tight. Other families, there's a divorce, there's co-parenting here, there's separation, there's cousins. So all that forces some kind of competition. There's a difficulty sometimes in maintaining those relationships to the point where when you're older, so you feel that, yes, I can help you, but I must also go and find my wealth outside. I want to go as far away from these people as possible. When I now have my money, instead of me to come and start teaching them how I made my wealth, I'll just send them. Let me just do my own. Let me keep them at arm's length. It happens.
Yes, but Mariah, you don't have to teach them your own kind of business. You can ask them, what do you want to do?
They never know the answer to that question. Nobody did you ever know the answer to that? We don't know. We
If
kind
they
of just
don't know, then
discover
there's no how I can
ourselves.
help, because I can't continue giving you money every time. I have to make sure that you are on your own so that you don't keep coming to me. So because me too, I have my own wants and needs that need to be taken care
Some
of.
put people on salary. There are many wealthy people that put family members on permanent salary.
That weakens them
so that
too.
but what you
For
do
mental
with what you have is your responsibility. Don't blame me. I've done my part. If somebody has helped you, they've done their part. What you do, everybody has a seed. If they've given you that seed, turn it into a forest by your own
There's
efforts.
somebody that used to collect money from my mom up until she
No,
died.
your mom had plenty of people.
This
Is it one?
plenty, there are plenty.
I know
But
your
this one
mom
in particular, this person collects money from my mom almost every month. Once my mom died, the person was asking for my number. Family members they refused to give him my number. Somehow, I don't know how the person found my number. He started greeting me and saying that I'm thinking, you're not going to pass on what for my mom. It's
that
not.
burden.
Because
No, it's not
you
your
have a wife, you have kids, and you're not depending. You depend on an old woman to be feeding you. I'm not going to continue that. Hell no. So the point is that some of us we are used to just collecting. But you see, my point is that is the giver.
Entitlement.
Should you continue to give?
And okay,
You have to draw the
Let
line
me ask
somewhere.
you, see the way you just said it now. You felt there was entitlement.
Yes.
That was, you know, you're a kind person, and I know that. So what irked you in that relationship was somebody is feeling entitled to what you are working hard for, the sacrifices you have made. That is the problem. That is why you can see some rich people close their eye because they feel like, what, is it only you?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And we talk about external factors where you said like people have their siblings now have wives, husbands, and then that's an influence, right? But then that's what you like. I have a friend like you that would say, "Oh, I'm married into a very close-knit family." You should, when you train up your children, when the Bible says you train up a child the way the child should be, and the child will grow up and never depart from that. When you have core your family values, there's some families that they have what they celebrate, they have what they do Thanksgiving together, they do Christmas together. Even when you come, you know that this is this is the core of the family value, right? And that brings me to the fact that you hear people say, oh, my sibling spoke to me like that because now he has money or because he has money. People that were raised right and they don't speak like that. You find out that even when your sibling corrects you, you take it in love, even though you're angry.
Because
You don't, in your mind,
intention.
because you trust the intention, you don't believe that this person is trying to belittle me or talk to me anyhow. No, you trust the intention. So if I can trust the fact that Mariah is correcting me in love and not trying to belittle me, it's my mindset. If I trust that she says, Amaka, this thing you didn't drop this cup right, you should have done it like that. I won't feel like, why should Mariah tell me that thing? I'll feel like, oh, Mariah, next time I'll try to, because my own, it's not Mariah now, my own mindset in receiving. So even if you want your sibling to help or do whatever, what's your mindset?
Okay.
What's the upbringing?
Let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Hello. Good morning. I think we're having issues with our callers. You know, what the issue I was going to say was that if you are my sibling and maybe I help you, right, and something happens, you mess things up, and I did it over, but I didn't tell anybody that I was helping my friend. Busy. I'm helping this person. I didn't tell anybody. Family members know because we're trying to just keep it amongst ourselves. But you messed me up so bad that you took my help for granted. Now she is a new family member that has no idea what I have been doing.
Assuming.
And then she comes to me for the same help. And I say, because of what Tokwe did to me, I am not going to help this person. And then she goes to family and say, that girl, she's very selfish. Imagine, she's not helping anybody, she's by herself. So people don't understand that the reason why I am not extending to you is because I have been burnt by maybe 2 or 3 other family members. So those dynamics are crazy.
dynamic
It's not that
very,
person's,
very-
yes,
It
it's not that
happens.
person's fault.
It's not easy.
It's not that
Nobody would
person's fault.
know.
It's not easy. You see, when yesterday on the show, somebody mentioned it that I don't borrow people money, that whenever they ask me for money, I give them what I can dash them. I've been there. I asked somebody for 100,000 naira as a loan for my business. And I was opening my studio and they gave me 10,000 naira. I'm like, I don't need 10,000 naira. I need 100,000 naira to buy 2. I will pay you back. He didn't give me because he had given many people money and they did not return. So he now said, you should just give me 10,000 naira. It is not easy. Human nature, when you injure yourself, it will become hardened to protect at that place from getting injured again. So it is normal for us to want to wall off and protect ourselves, but it takes a level of, it takes the Holy Spirit, it takes God to soften us so that we are kind to everybody and treat each relationship as a fresh ground. Don't carry the burden of the previous one. But I can only say this based on my own experience. It's not easy. I can't judge somebody else for what they've done based on what they have been through. So what you said is very, very valid. Many relatives are not nice to new or younger people because of what they've heard before. My auntie, she's doing very well. She owns a radio station. Surprisingly, I've never mentioned it to you. And her husband owned a bank at the point in time, and I went to meet her.
High level connect.
Yes, and this is my first cousin.
Wow.
She's my dad's elder brother's daughter.
Wow.
And I went to meet her to do IT. And I knew when I left that she just assumed that I was coming to curry favor. So she was like, no, I don't use connection for anything. I know that you are Odubela, but you go and apply normally, and if you get it, you get it. Don't think that because you are my cousin, you will get any extra favors here. I left. I got into NAFDAC for my IT. I did not go back to meet her for anything, but I knew the reaction was not to me as a person. I've always been very proud. I just felt that she just feels like everybody comes to meet her, all family member comes to meet her to ask for favors. But she shouldn't have given me that reaction because I was a small 17-year-old.
But you don't know
like,
where she's coming from.
Exactly.
She
So you
could
can
have
see
been
the...
burnt.
Yeah.
So in hindsight now I understand it, but me, I just took it that, life has happened. God will carry me to another place. And I went somewhere else and I got the opportunity. So if you are in that receiving end, your life is not tied to one person. Your destiny is not tied to your brother or your sister or your cousin or your auntie. If your cousin, brother, auntie do not help you, this God is a wonderful God. The causes,
But what
somebody
about
else
the
will
giver?
help
The
you.
giver should not also transfer what happened to
cannot help
another
that
person
one
that
now.
you transfer
We're
it
a
to.
human being.
But
human
the
beings.
other person
We're
doesn't know. The
product
other
of
person is
experience.
innocent.
Going-
If you really want to help, you can just help without
So
saying
if we
because you
wanted
help
to
somebody.
take a peek at the story we're looking at, the Cubana story earlier. If we look in the next 5 years, this $13,000, let's see what will
finish.
happen to it.
It
Maybe
goes.
you'll be surprised. He might,
double
he might use that $30,000 to scale up his business. We never know. We'll see. We'll review that.
I never tell. If Cubana TV brings receipts of what he has done, he might have passed that 30,000.
Can I say something? And then, even you as a sibling that is working and you're looking up to that sibling, we all see Cubana, Chief Priest. He does not rest. That guy is everywhere. He's hustling. He's working hard. He's a hard worker. You cannot take that away from him. He's a hard worker. Do you understand? So let everybody wake up. Like you said, God has given all of us 24 hours. God has given all of us brain. As the guy, they move every day. That guy don't they rest. You say, people say, let this guy not just drop one day. He's always on the move. You wake up and move. If you want to intern with him, learn too. There's something the Igbo people that they do. I don't know about other cultures. I can only speak from where I'm from. Igbo people don't joke with what they call family meeting. Family meeting is so important in the Igbo land. Why? Because as in it brings everybody together. Everybody can talk about where we are at. Where we, as in if who offend you, who do they? And then if you notice within the Igbo community, if one person has money, it touches every other person. And Cubana Chief Priest is a generous human being. It's obvious, like as a person. And that Igbo land, everybody, and if this is the siblings or in the Igbo land, the sibling feels that I'm not being helped, you go to the Omonna. There's a place where it is discussed. You've been given a platform and a caucus to discuss that issue
your grievances.
and your grievances.
But I know there's one thing I know is that once you give, you will never lack. You continue to have more.
Yes.
That's one good thing about life.
That is
So if
true.
the Cubana priest that is rich, I know that yes, he spreads his time and he helps a lot of people. That is why his money will never finish. So you find out that you think he's working hard, but it's the blessings because he gives. It's
So let me
the
let me
blessings
take
that
Femi.
come to
Thanks
you.
for calling. Hopefully our line will work right now. Femi, thanks for
Hello,
calling.
good
Your
morning,
line.
Murayo. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Yeah, please, you ladies, you've said it all. There's this Yoruba phrase that says that Ajumobi Okontanu, ẹni tí Ọlọ́run rán sí yàn ló ṣèyàn lóore. So the fact that you are my sibling, you are a billionaire, you are a trillionaire, or whatever, is not a must. But if whoever that goes are destined to you to help you, will help you. Like I think Dr. West, I had a question that the fact that I know she's ready to help, but people should not take it for granted, something like that. There are a lot of people that even after doing them favor, they will still say all kinds of rubbish, even within the family. So if God says he's an answer that is going to help my siblings to make it in life, so be it. So it's not compulsory and it's not a must that my sibling or somebody in my relation must help me to succeed in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah. And some you will help them, and when you finish helping them, they'll still go outside and say funny things about you.
But
So,
was it clear?
Yeah, it was a struggle to hear.
Okay.
It was very
I
difficult.
couldn't
hear it.
Yeah, so I have a story of somebody who I know that they know that the brother, he has a job actually, but they know that what he's earning is not enough to sustain him and his family. So what the sibling does is this: they help the brother pay his the children's school fees. At least let them take that heavy burden off him. But every other thing he does, he takes care of the feeding of his family and he takes care of other things. That's obligation on
That's
on
Africa.
sibling.
That's Nigeria.
Yes,
That's
you
what
have to
Nigerians do.
help.
Nigerian people
So
pay
that
school
one you
fees.
won't say because he's not doing anything. It's just that his money is not enough to take care of to take care of his family and all. So that way a sibling can come in and help.
But let's also
Constantly.
talk about expectations and people counting your money.
Entitlement.
You might sit down there
Oh.
and then you feel that I'm a billionaire when my money not even reach.
No, but you're buying,
No, make
you're
I
buying
call-
Gucci
see,
bag.
credit-
You're
see,
doing Brazilian
suppose
yacht.
I'm
You are
doing-
living
suppose
on the
I'm living
island.
suppose I'm
Wait,
doing
no.
on credit. I'm living on credit.
Hey, but
But that's-
the way
that's-
you are showing your lifestyle to me
Yeah.
as a sibling.
Yeah.
You are living in Lekki, or Banana Island. You are driving a big car. You are carrying Gucci. You're looking fine like this every day.
just
And
came
after you
back.
don't have money.
No, but me, I just came back.
See,
and
see,
I travel
see.
with family, so
See,
in people's
see,
mind.
see,
calculated-
that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah.
Nobody should calculate another person's money.
Exactly.
But
you
Thank
do that
I'm
consciously.
no,
Let's
so,
be
so,
realistic.
no,
You
let's
do that
for the
consciously.
fact that as in at least I've done the basic as a sibling, paid your school fees, make sure, for example, your kids are well taken care of, your hospital bills, as a rich sibling, as a supposedly rich sibling, your school fees, all those things, the basics have been provided for. You know that you
You are
always have,
eating.
you know that you've eaten, you always have a roof over your head.
Oto, you're not naked.
Then you sit down.
Any other
You say
thing
you
is
say
Dara.
you've not seen siblings, so you sit down. They are calculating the money that came. When
Okay, you are
like,
traveling. Why did you take me? I'm your
Madam,
cousin. Did you
Madam,
travel with me?
People don't want what you give them.
They
They
want
want what
that
you
one
have.
that you have.
Is that Vietnam
That's
that you
greed.
go? That's that plane you
greed,
entered.
yes.
We must enter
Enter
it
that
together.
place That's together.
greed.
That house that you live in.
Do you know this
you
also
must hand it over to
with
me.
and
staff?
that's the dangerous one.
It happens with staff. It happens with maids.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
do we have those situations? The maid is looking at you and feeling like, we are living, I'm the one doing the work inside the house. You don't know you're doing work outside. Sometimes I had to explain to my staff in my office that I work on a TV station. I do Red
Yes.
360. I also do speaking engagements. I have a book. My money is not real estate money alone. I get money from different places. Gather everything together to live the life I'm
But see,
living
must
right
we
now.
explain to our siblings?
You have to explain,
to
no,
our staff
so that they
so
will
they
understand.
understand. Because no matter your explanation, no, you
They might
think
not
you're
believe.
explaining. Nobody really cares about your explanation. Really, in your mind, you feel that you've told them. No, they're not comforted. Your sibling doesn't want to
They
know
feel
that.
you're lying.
They don't even know their feet. They don't care. Somehow, with all this your complaint or this your lamentation, you are still able to build a house in Banana Island. You are still able to buy a new car. What are you talking about?
You are all right.
You are
You are
more
all
than
right.
all right. So don't give me that. So my question, therefore, with all this is that even as a rich person, and I think that's where Nima usually comes in modesty, should we have our wealth in modesty? You know, should we have, no matter how rich we are, should we say just because I have siblings who are still hustling, it's not time for me to buy this new car. It's not time for me to send my children abroad. It's not time for me to do this. I need to just work in a more modest way so that I don't look too rich.
What you call modest is still extravagant to some people. You are modest. You have done all your best. Nima dresses, but somebody will still say her waist is too cinched. When I read the comment, I'm like, I don't understand. I've never seen her elbow before. She's covering everything. You
Except
say
for
they
the first
sit.
time last week. Was it Monday?
Oh yeah, yesterday. I'm like, she changed the front of us and we see hand.
I said, hey,
I'm
Nima,
like,
I'm seeing your
and
hand.
somebody is saying that it was too fitted on the waist. What you call modest, you have lived with all humility. Somebody will still look at it and say, you have a car. I don't have a car. So you have something I don't have, and they'll still look at it. So people should be responsible.
Everybody should just live their lives. That's just it. But
Very true.
And you work hard for your money. Please, this life now one life. People
That's why they call you a butter fresh.
person they die.
freshest.
I beg you work hard for the money. Chop am how you want chop am.
You must chop in modesty.
No, see, Morayo,
we live
I
amongst poor
reject
people in our
that.
country.
I will take
We
care and I
live-
will help. But I will chop my money that I've worked
way I
for
want to do
very
it,
well, the way I
yes.
want to, with audacity, unapologetic.
With your full chest.
And I work for you, never to be cut on fresh.
Amakus. I think we can wrap up on that. But really, I think in a nutshell, really, I mean, the conversation really is about obligation. Should you feel obligated to help? Yes, I could perform Roma too. You should to help your siblings. But at the same time, in helping, for my own end, know the kind of help you need to give. Because sometimes it's not about just handing over money or material things. Give things to help them to instigate their own wealth or to initiate their own wealth themselves. However, nobody's saying we shouldn't give. We're just saying that give, but also respect the fact that everybody also worked hard for their money and they are entitled to spend the money the way they choose to, although we say do that responsibly. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, so the World Health Organization, WHO, has declared an outbreak of the new coronavirus in China a global health emergency. According to the Director General of WHO, our greatest concern is the potential for the virus to spread to countries with weaker health systems and which are ill prepared to deal with it. Joining us on the show to discuss this and more is our friend of the house, Dr. Tuyi Mebawandu. Welcome to the show. He's the medical director and CEO, Medway Health Limited. Welcome. So good to have you again.
Thank you.
I see your smile is different. This is our new studio.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to be.
Thank you.
You know, can we continue the interview for like 3 days?
We can continue. Honestly, you look like a happier doctor.
Aha, you know that's what the environment does to
You'll
you.
be acting as if we are stressing you.
I heard.
Now you're smiling.
That's what the environment does to you, yeah. I
All
can't.
right, good to have you on the show. So this virus, I mean, I read it in the papers this morning that NCDC has tried to set in the coronavirus protocols out there, especially at the port of entries, you know, to ensure that this doesn't come into Nigeria. But let's just start with what WHO has declared. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you think we can move from here?
You know, over and over, we've said that we're going to see more outbreak of these germs, you know, touching humanity. And China has actually led the way again. After 5 years, they are giving us a new virus. In terms of escalation, it's not that the virus is new, but in terms of escalation, we're having a new virus called human pulmonary virus.
Yes.
Metapneumovirus,
Yes.
that's the name. It's human metapneumovirus. That's the new virus we're having now. And of course, the last month during the Christmas, hospitals were filled in China, and people were wondering, are we entering a new coronavirus? Now, what is human metapneumovirus? It is actually a virus affecting mainly the respiratory system. It's close to the severe acute respiratory virus, and most of the time, the reservoir in this case is human. But ab initio, there's avian type, which actually you see in the birds, and then because of human contact with those animals, the virus jumps into human being and use human being to propagate it. And we always know that the first spark is when the virus jumps either from another human being, animal, or soil, or any other and jump into human being, and then use itself to propagate. So what do we notice in this case is that when this happens, usually around the flu season, incubation period is about 3 to 6 days. The person will now start having the classical respiratory symptoms: runny nose, cough, sore throat, watery eyes, tiredness, classically. And the virus can then further spread, you know, to the lower system and affect the lungs, causing pneumonia and severe illnesses. Of course, 10% of people affected will actually get worse, and they will require hospitalization. One of the key risk factors are young children, older people, and immunocompromised. Of course, if you look at our own environment, you see abundance of immunocompromised and young people. So now, China is being tricky about the whole thing. Initially, China was just trying to play the game down that, look, what we have is like the escalation of the normal flu season. It's not a big thing. But of course, when it started happening that a lot of people have been admitted and it's causing, you know, spread, you know, in other parts of China, the World Health has to step in and say, guys, beware, we may be having another challenge with us. But don't let us panic, because we're not going to see a close down or a lockdown that we saw in the past. But of course, we have to be careful. We have to monitor both at the level of the country, individual. If someone has the virus or is having recurrent coughing, and the person is having sneezing, catarrh, sore throat, the person needs to stay home and avoid contact with too many people so as not to spread the virus.
Okay, so I want to ask this question. What's the difference between the old COVID and this new COVID? The reason I'm asking is because, you know, we collected vaccine for the old one. So why can't the vaccine still stand for this new one. So let's know the difference between the
Or is it
old.
COVID?
No, it's not COVID.
one.
This is not COVID.
But
COVID-
they call it new COVID.
Oh, well, it's not COVID.
Okay.
It's not COVID. It's not. They are not the same virus.
Oh, okay.
They're not related. It's not okay. Now, unfortunately, this one, we don't have drugs to treat it. There's no vaccine yet to
It's a
treat
different
it.
one.
So it's a different thing entirely. But unfortunately, this virus has a way of just targeting the respiratory system because it's easy to spread by sneezing, to spread by coughing, to spread by touching. So easily they just spread during that time, and then along the line they attenuate and go away to return again. Of course, you know that in nature we have more than 1 trillion germs, you know, moving around. Out of these germs, maybe just about 1,500 are actually bacteria, about 200 plus are viruses, 200 plus or so are you know, parasites. There are large number of these viruses that are yet to be discovered. And occasionally, when they now enter human being and cause disease, we now pick them. It's not that anybody is manufacturing any virus. So they are all there, hanging in nature, doing whatever they're doing. Okay? So let us agree that nobody is manufacturing virus. Nobody wants to reduce human being. And the danger we have presently is the state of the world, whereby social media, you know, spreading misinformation and disinformation. Yes. Now, WHO is supposed to be our gateway to deal with a lot of disinfection. Yeah. But now WHO is having challenges. In 2020, Donald Trump said he pulled out of WHO, defunded it, for instance, because without money, you know, what we call earmarked voluntary contributions, without money, you cannot work. WHO cannot work. If America that's giving 15% of the money is withdrawing from WHO, it becomes a big problem. Who now fund WHO? You have to lead to the hands of Bill Gates and co. Those volunteers don't know who now have control of that WHO. So then the worst thing is that Donald Trump is appointing an anti-vaxxer, Robert Kennedy, as the Secretary of Health. What that means is that he will not believe in those things, and whatever happens in China will spread to America, will spread to Africa, and the world may be compromised. So all of us need to now figure out, individual country, how do you protect yourself? And good enough, we still have a very good team now, I can tell you. As far as health is concerned, our health team in Nigeria now, these are wonderful guys. Pate and the group, they're very wonderful. Jide Idris, Pate and they're very wonderful people. And we can still rely on our experience from Ebola, experience from COVID, and experience from even Lassa that we're seeing to curtail, you know, the spread of those infections.
Okay. So what do you think? What's the fate of humanity with these frequent outbreaks now, one? Viruses. And then, yes, viruses. And then secondly, if something happens in Nigeria now, do we have the capacity to curtail, you know, the spread? And then thirdly, do you think the government, now that if, for example, America is leaving WHO and we know that the funding for research and every other thing would, you know, significantly go down. So do you think our own government, Nigerian government, should not start putting a lot of money in medical research? Okay. Do you understand? To be able to plan for the future?
Well, again, key thing is this collaboration. When America dropped, Germany stepped up to actually bridge the gap, you know. You see other countries stepping up. We just have to do that collaboration. Humanity, the fate of humanity, we're good as long as we try to respect the environment. You know what's happening in China? Large population, 1.4, 1.5 billion people, very mobile. These guys, they sell exotic animals, and they are wet animals, okay? All sort of strange animals are for eating. And they are live animals. It's not that, you know, they need to step up rules because there are a lot of germs hanging in those animals normally. By the time you pick them and you interact with them, they jump into you. And for whatever reason, they find a way to use you to divide and spread. So we have to actually define clearly, you know, because the challenge of climate change, human despoilation of the environment, where we interact with those animals. You know, we go and cut their distance, and then the insects come to you, the animals come to you, and then China is notorious for that wet market. You know, all sorts of animals, freshly, and even if you look at some of their diets, there's a channel I used to watch about diet. You wonder, how can anybody eat this kind of thing? And they will eat some of them raw. So, unfortunately, you need to be, I've had a reason on 2 occasions to be in a flight You know, where I was saying go to another part of India. Of course, the Ethiopian Airlines took us from Addis. It's going to go to Delhi and then go on to China. Lots of Chinese in that aircraft. Honestly, you will be wondering why are you inside here? So again, the government needs to actually step up. And another thing is that China has this thing about suppressing information. They don't want to tell you that so is happening. And that is why for us, the best thing we have now is to use that information. I'm glad that Nigeria Center for Disease Control is stepping up and saying, look, guys, we have this new thing on. Oh. Guys, take care, clean yourself, hand washing. If you are sick, cover your nose, avoid terrible crowds. If you are not sick, you know, drink a lot of water. All those kind of things. Right. These are the things we can really do.
All right. So
let me go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with this segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Staying with us, we still have our caller. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Lord.
Good to have you. Go ahead, please.
My name is Iweka. I'm calling from Barega.
Okay. Your first time caller?
Do you know that this Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I said, my name is Iweka. I'm calling from Barega, Shomulu Barega.
Okay.
I'm on leave at my home watching this program this early morning. Did you know that this pandemic that is happening in China, I have a daughter in China, but I don't want to mention her name.
Okay.
Could you know that this thing did not tell them anything in China, that there's such a pandemic in China? It is true that here in Nigeria, passed the information to my daughter in China schooling. Why can't they have, they're supposed to have that kind of pandemic where they eat everything, lizard, cockroach, everything eatable. Something that we cannot eat in Nigeria, they are eating it in they now call it abroad. Why can't we have such pandemic? What I want to say is that for Nigerians to tell our people, wherever you are, try to communicate to them, whatever they hear, so that they will pass those information to you people.
Thank you very much. I mean, they're trying to manage information. They also don't want to cause panic in their nation. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Keep in touch with what's going on so you know, have better information. Yes, Topper, you're going to ask.
Yes, so I wanted to appreciate the way you conveyed the information, because it's a very calming way so that we don't have panic. And I also feel very grateful that we do have people in positions of leadership within the health sector that can handle it. But here's a question. Are we at the level where we should be wearing nose mask? Is it something we should consider for anybody, that if somebody has cough, we should just say, get in. Once you have a cough, wear a nose mask. If you are sneezing, wear a nose mask. How do we differentiate normal harmattan allergies from something we should start worrying about? And at what point should we insist on nose mask?
I think, honestly, first of all, you must understand your risk, okay? If you, for whatever reason, if you are, anybody at the extreme of the ages should watch out. If you are immunocompromised, if you have asthma, if you have COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, or any respiratory problem at all, if you're diabetic, you should be mindful of your health, because these are the risk factors that can aggravate any viral infection in you. So, well, it's dusty, okay? If you really need to interact in the market a lot, there's no harm in putting on a face mask. Okay. You know, if you look at our own market in Lagos, or maybe Kano or thereabout, a lot of interaction, you have to actually do that. Secondly, it is basic that hand washing alone, you know, prevents a lot of illnesses, a lot. Because at the point, if the virus is on the surface, like doorknobs or surface like this, and then you touch the surface and then go to your nose, the virus will jump there, okay? Then you have to actually try to live healthy. I can't mention about food, what to eat, because all of us know that now you have to eat.
Ginger and turmeric, seeds.
But in our environment, right now, you can even plant herbs in a pot, you know, in your house. There's no big deal. Just plant it and then try, to live healthy. So for me, assess the situation where you're interacting, and then if you need to cover your nose, in that case, please cover your face. But wash your hands.
Okay.
If there's anything at all I want to
I like
wash
what
your
you
hands.
said earlier, Dr. Tuye, concerning NCDC, and that's reassuring. And NCDC is up to, I even read in the papers where they're telling us that this human metapneumovirus is different from COVID. So that is very different. But the problem I'm having is not so much of it, because NCDC is putting the protocols in place. However, my problem is Nigerians. There's so many times I've traveled and come back, and maybe NCDC sends a mail and says, okay, you have to fill this form to give us a background of your history, and they start complaining, they start shouting. Nigerians, they totally they resist any type of orderliness or any type of protocol, following protocols, because they just feel like they're stressing them. All this nonsense, I just flew from London, and nobody stressed me out. I come to Nigeria, and they're all stressing me to fill form, to give them my medical records. How do we address unruly Nigerians, especially at this time? So, yes, it's not yet in Nigeria, we're grateful, but NCDC putting these protocols in place can receive quite a bit of pushback and resistance from Nigerians. How do we address that, do you think?
Well, I see your point, but it takes some learning for behavior to change. It takes some learning. We cannot, whatever it is, we just have to persist. And the thing is that we see the difficulty in trying to convince Nigeria to do things. If I were to be NCDC and have to actually get involved, the simple thing is that I'll relate with my Minister of Interiors and airports and get protocol of people, that are coming from certain places, and insist that those things have to be done. It's not, because you cannot wake up and, because of your challenges, compromise the health of other people. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, the pushback is actually from the point of communication. Mm. Okay? Now, recently, I see NCDC having, posters, MPOX, this and that. That's wonderful, because in the point of communication, people see it, it hits them. Some will pick it, a lot of them will neglect it. But we have to deepen the communication. We have to, tweak the communication. We have to make it in such a way that even where those people are present, the communication is also present there. You have to look at it on X, where, where they are fighting, whether Instagram or whatever, what's the other, TikTok. The information must be there, where the simple thing you can do, it's not going to hurt you. And then, even at the level of institutions, we have to actually impose some of those protocols, We cannot run away from our sanitizer, we cannot run away from our hand washing, we cannot run away from that creating spaces in between of us when we're interacting like this. So it's tough. Okay. It's even tougher that some people sat down and felt that, they want to reduce human population. This is Satan, that is this. That is really the peak
misinformation
of this thing. Okay.
So let's discuss vaccines. So
let me pause you for a second. Alhaji Subara is on holding. Alhaji Subara, thanks for calling. You're live. Alhaji Subara.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Go ahead, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay. Right. Madam Morayo, Happy New Year and Happy New Year
to you too, sir.
And the rest. And Happy New Year to your guests. You see, my question is this. You see, these Chinese people, like somebody called, like what the doctor even said, they eat so many things, either raw or unhygienic. We know that. But the point is this. You see, we know what we suffer in the last COVID-19. This is the same people. But my question to the doctor is that what is WHO doing in creating an awareness? Good enough, somebody from America, that man from Bariga called that he has a daughter there. They keep silent. They didn't do anything there. But what is WHO doing to create awareness for this pandemic? In order not to put us into trouble, because we know how we suffer in the last epidemic. Have a nice day, as a doctor. Please,
thank you.
Your answer, please.
Thank you. WHO has regional bodies. There's African regional, there's Pacific, there's American. There are regional bodies of WHO that are supposed to deal with information dissemination appropriately. The first thing WHO did was to actually signal and tell, guys, we have another virus, spreading. So it is now up to the regional bodies to pick those information and take it down to various countries and our health ministries or whatever start spreading. WHO is doing their best within the framework of what is available to them. And don't forget, like I always say, is that the greatest challenge of health policy is health politics. WHO has become a lot of, entered into, there are political permutations to the WHO now.
Too much.
Okay, you know that when Donald Trump in his first time said that, listen, WHO didn't do enough, they allowed the China virus, Wuhan virus, the Chinese virus to enter, and then they didn't do enough. Then he's going to pull out of WHO. And he actually did until Biden came and returned. Donald Trump is now here. And he's going to go away from WHO from Thursday, according to him. Let's hope he's changed his mind because of this now. We just hope so. But people should realize that without funding, WHO will be compromised in terms of research, in terms of, touching what they call earmarked voluntary donations. Because those people that are giving money to WHO, they say that this is my money, use it to do reproductive health. You can't touch that kind of money. You have to do that's called earmarked voluntary donations. They've earmarked it for something. Be get to say, use this my money to develop this. Okay? Because the problem. Now, the members that are supposed to donate money, once you take away USA and Germany and a few other countries, the rest are not giving any much. Okay? Me, we're in Nigeria, we don't even have enough money to spend on our own health system. How much can I donate to WHO? So it becomes important that at a local level, for me, one of the exciting things about the political ongoing is the fact that we're giving strength to the local government. At the local level, okay, in whatever locality we have ourselves, we should be able to look at ourselves and say that, listen, these are the protocol, these are the responses, this is how to get your dog cheap. We should be able to localize all this information.
Yeah.
As long as we neglect the local thing and start pushing at the international level, we're wasting our time. Because disease is local. Yeah. We have to clean our gutters. We have to maintain our health. Right. We have to campaign in the language that the people understand. Absolutely. Communication is one of the things. And I hope that Nigeria Center for Disease Control will further dovetail their communication to reflect peculiarities of different regions.
Okay, so I want to talk about vaccines. So it's so funny how for every strain, a vaccine is deployed, right? So, yeah, so for we as the human beings, right, that are taking all this vaccine, is there an amount of vaccine that a human being can take that the body starts to push back, or that you have side effects? Or because if these strains keep coming out every day, how many person won't take? So let's know, as a doctor.
Fear not. That's the first thing I would say. You are most likely to be a Christian. Fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not, 375 times in the Bible. So I will add one, 376, fear not. You know why? Because even our body system itself, the body itself makes vaccines. The body tries to look at how to counter germs. That is why when you see people in malaria zone, for instance, when they have attack of malaria, it will be less severe when you compare to an Ebola that comes to Nigeria. So the body itself is trying to make vaccines. But unfortunately, the body gets overwhelmed in trying to structure that.
Adapt.
Now, human beings must be able, because more than 20 years ago, in my practice then, you see it, vaccine is the future. Because I remember when we were doing one of those works in Uppsala University in Sweden, I told them the way forward, then, how many years ago now? More than 25 years ago, that the way forward is that we have to actually look. Because, if you want to really reduce the challenges of drug, you have to develop smart vaccines.
I have to take this important message. I have to wrap up very soon, but there's an important message that came today. I run a nanny agency, and one of my girls was assigned to a Chinese family, and they brought in quite a bit of protein from China, which was made to warm for the family. And she couldn't eat their food, and I had to withdraw her from Nigeria. So she's suggesting that they are bringing some of their proteins into our country. Now, I know this is not your area, but what can government do to even help curb some of these importations?
My sister, carry snail to Royal say you want to go to America, they will trash it at the airport there.
Yeah.
Scanners that are
They
powerful
will
to do,
trash
but we don't have those kind of
all your bushmeat and so Wednesday, they just carry everything and trash it.
But here, they just
our scanners are not powerful.
So for us,
That's the thing.
we should be able to look at it that this list of is there. Oh. This list of foods are not allowed
in our country.
in our country.
Prevent it from coming in.
You know, if you have to bring it, this is the form in which you have to bring
These
it.
frogs and all these things.
If you bring smoked fish, if you take it to some places abroad, they'll trash the whole thing now. So now our quarantine, NAFDAC, customs, our food and drug, they are the airport, they are the port of entrance now. They must be able to look at what is acceptable here, you know, and then
unfortunately,
deliver that for
that's
us.
all we can say. We've run out of time. But thank you so much, Dr. Tui Mebawondu.
So why do we run out of time? So I want to stay in your I want to stay in your studio. Okay, we have to go.
On today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Join us again for tomorrow. Have a lovely day. See you then. Bye for now.